Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I'd like to welcome you to another in the series, In the Light of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon you. In this segment of the series, In the Light of Islam, in which we answer, or try to answer, to the best of our ability, the questions which you have written in, asking about different aspects of Islam. In this segment, we'll be looking at questions coming from Sharjah and Dubai. And the first question is one sent in by Mr. Muhammad Jamal from Sharjah, in which he asks, can a person with debts go on Hajj? Or can someone borrow money to go on Hajj? Could you please explain this for me? Basically, we know that Hajj is compulsory on those who have the ability. And the issue of ability includes not only physical ability, but financial ability, meaning that we have sufficient money in which to make the Hajj. At that point, it becomes compulsory on us. Now, if a person has debts, the rights of those to whom he owes the money is given precedence over the obligation for Hajj from Allah. Because that money that he has is not really his. If he owes it to others, it's not really his money. So, technically speaking, he should not go on Hajj having debts which he has not cleared. However, if the people to whom he owes this money give him permission, that is, he asks their permission, do you mind if I go on Hajj this year and I will pay, the debts at a later point or in smaller portions over a longer period, and they agree, then it is permissible. But without their consent, it is really incorrect for a person to go on Hajj while having such debts. Now, there are other debts which may be commitments that the person has made to others. These types, where they have promised to do this or they've promised to do the other, these type of commitments don't represent loans that were given to them wherein they owe people certain properties, etc. These type of commitments should be recorded before one goes on Hajj. Because when a person is going on Hajj, Allah knows whether the person will return or not. So therefore, if there are certain commitments which are only known to them and to the people to whom they made these commitments, person before going on Hajj should record all of these types of debts, things which they owe to others, or which they've promised to give to others. In case if they die and then their property is being distributed, those people may be denied their rights. So in order to ensure that the rights of others are protected before going on Hajj, the person is required to record all obligations, all of the major obligations which may not be known and which may be put aside in case of one's death and the division of one's inheritance. Of course, in terms of preparing oneself for the journey to Hajj, one should not only have the means to go, that is, a plane ticket, but one should also have the necessary funds to look after oneself during the journey. Some people, have taken the position that for one to go with no means, that this is tawakkul, or putting one's trust in Allah. That we go, we just have enough to buy our ticket to go, and that's enough. We just go, and whilst we're there, we will find some way, some means, somehow. This is not the correct approach. This is, in fact, in Arabic called tawakkul, not tawakkul. Tawakkul means putting one's trust without any basis. That is, like a person jumping off a cliff and saying, Allah will protect me. We know that jumping off the cliff causes death. So to jump off the cliff and say, I'm putting my trust in Allah, this is nonsense. This is tawakkul. This is putting trust where there is no basis for the trust. Sure, it is true that Allah is the best to protect, but He gave us certain intelligence to understand the cause and effect system of this world, and we are obliged to operate within that, the circumstances of that cause and effect system wherever it is possible. And this is clearly explained in a well-known tradition in which a man came into the Prophet Muhammad's masjid on one occasion, and after he had stepped in and he was close to the Prophet, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, he realized that he had forgotten to tie his camel outside. So he asked the Prophet, should I trust in Allah? He told him the circumstance. Should I trust in Allah or should I go and tie my camel? The Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, told him, go and tie your camel and trust in Allah. This is the clear evidence that we are required to work in accordance with the cause and effect system that is there in this world, and not to ignore it. We tie the camel, we do what we can, and then we put our trust in Allah. Because ultimately, even if we have tied the camel, if we have done whatever we feel is necessary, there is still no guarantee that the camel will not get loose. Somebody may steal the camel or whatever. You know, whatever plans we have made, they may not happen the way that we want them to. So ultimately, we have to put our trust in Allah. But the trust is put after we have done our utmost. And this is also reflected in the dua, the prayer for help in choice, known as dua al-istikhara, where we make a particular prayer to Allah after making 2 units of prayer, voluntary prayer. We make this prayer to Allah, asking Allah to help us in our choice. Now, people again have traditionally thought that from the very beginning you have a choice before you. You don't know which one to decide on. So you just go and make this prayer, and then you're looking for some signs, either in your dreams or in your daily life, something supernatural is going to happen, which is going to let you know that this is the right choice or that was the right choice. But this is not the correct way. Prophet Muhammad had told us, if you have decided in an affair, that is, you have a choice between 2 things, then you have, after looking at them, you have decided this is the one that I want to do. Then you make this dua. Because the dua, in it you are saying, you're addressing Allah, praising Him, recognizing that He's the one who knows the unseen. And you ask Allah, if this affair, which I have chosen, is best for me in the things of this life and the next, then make it easy for me and bring me close to it. But if it is not best for me, then make it difficult for me and take me far away from it. So it is after a decision has been made. We make decisions. And then we put our trust in Allah, that He is the one who knows best what is best for us. So this should be the proper approach in preparing ourselves to go and make Hajj. Similarly, we should, of course, recognize, as Allah said in the Quran, وَتَزَوَّدُوا, that is, we should take provisions for the journey. فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى. But at the same time, we should realize that the best provision that we can take for the journey is taqwa, or piety. Because if we are seeking absolution from sin, purification, the blessings of God from this act of worship that we are going about to perform, then we must approach it piously, in all righteousness. We cannot approach it as a ritual that we're doing. We are committing sins, we have this plan to commit more sins, but in the meantime we want to go and make Hajj to remove some of the past sins, then we go and make some more sins, we go make another Hajj and remove some more sins. No. If we're approaching Hajj in this fashion, then the Hajj will not be accepted by God. It will not remove sin from us. So we have to approach it in all piety. That is, with taqwa, fear of God. That is the best thing that we can take along with us after making our provision from in the material plane. The best thing on the spiritual plane to take with us is consciousness of God, fear of God, which will make that Hajj in accordance with what Allah had said, فَلَا رَفَثَ وَلَا فُسُوقَ وَلَا جِدَالَ فِي الْحَجِّ. That there should be no, evil talk, any kind of sensuous talk, no fighting and arguing, pushing and stealing, any kind of corruption. The Hajj should be free of that, free of anger and angry responses and bad talk, etc. How can we do that? We can only do it if we are conscious of God. Another question here from Dubai, from Sister Faiza Dawood. She writes, Dear Dr. Bilal, your program is a most informative one. I shall be obliged to you if you will kindly reply to my query. My husband had died in an accident. As I am a working woman, I couldn't observe Iddah by sitting at home. Is it excusable according to Sharia or not? Is it a must to observe Iddah? Please do reply. Yours sincerely, Faiza. Now, the Iddah must be observed. That is, the period of 4 months and 10 days must be observed after the death of the husband. This is a requirement according to Islamic law. However, the staying at home, though the woman is encouraged to stay at home, this is only a portion of the Iddah. I mean, what it means is during this period of time, she's not to contract marriage. And she should not beautify herself. She should just remain, in a plain kind of dress and, observe this period of what is called a period of mourning, like a period of mourning. Part of that period is to ensure that she's not pregnant, so she gets into another marriage, and then she may, there may be some doubt as to who the parent of that child may be if she turned out that she was pregnant. So that aspect can be fulfilled without her staying at home. She's encouraged to stay at home and only to leave the home in the case of necessity. In the case where this is a working woman, for example, she has children to look after, there is nobody to help her. She's working. If she stays at home, she will lose her job, not be able to take care of her children. Then in such a case, it is permitted for her to continue to work. But of course, as I said, she should observe the principles of the Iddah. That is, that no marriage should be contracted during that period, that she should be simple in her dress. She should not be wearing, if she is normally wearing makeup, which she shouldn't be doing publicly anyway, but if she's doing so, definitely she should not be doing that in this period. And her dress, she should be, in the most simplest forms of dress. And to minimize going out the home, she goes and does her work and then she goes back home. Normally, in her normal life, maybe she'll be going to visit her friends or neighbors, going to have dinner in a restaurant or whatever, this going out of the home socially, she should avoid that. We have another question from Dubai, from Sister Tasneem Khan. Dear Dr. Bilal, Assalamu alaikum. My parents are very weak. They can't perform Hajj or Umrah. Can I send somebody for Hajji Badal? If so, what kind of people can do Hajji Badal? I mean those who have already performed Hajj or those who haven't gone even once. Please do reply. Thanking you. Yours sincerely, Tasneem. Sister Tasneem.